let's start on this note. How did we get here?
Please, the line isn't clear. If you can.
Nana, can you hear me now?
Okay, I think it's a little okay now.
Okay, great. Now, Nana, how did we get here? Nana?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
The line drops and I'm unable to hear it, but I understand the story you are talking about is the fact that Chinese have taken over our industrial sector, especially in the trust sector, and ownership and control appears to be mainly Chinese companies.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Section 47 of our laws forbid foreign ownership in the industrial sector, except with the tuna sector where 50% ownership and control is allowed. Unfortunately, as a country, we understand we do not even have certified captains and sailors. So we have a situation where companies front for these Chinese companies to be able to get these trawl vessels and get them the licenses so that they can operate in the name of Ghanaians.
Wow.
But with ownership and control by these foreign, mostly Chinese companies.
So, Nana, let me just find out on this note, meaning that Ghanaians do not have the capacity to own fishing vessels. Your revelations say so.
Please, can you come again? The line?
I'm saying, with your revelation, does it mean that Ghanaians do not have the capacity to own fishing vessels?
That is a problem. You know, the law seems to protect local ownership and control. But the reality is that these steel vessels are not produced here, and the cost of it is huge. For which reason, these Chinese companies have actually identified the gaps in our laws and are now exploiting those gaps. Unfortunately, as a country, I understand we do not even have a model agreement that the companies that go to bring these vessels enter into with the people. So each company has its own agreement with the foreign company. And this is shrouded in secrecy, whether it is high purchase or whatever. But they appear in the name of Ghanaians. The licenses are issued to Ghanaians. But we tend to realize that the people who are actually manning and the people who appear to be in control are actually these Chinese. And we have Ghanaians sailors who join some of these vessels who give us information as to the damage that these Chinese operators and their collaborators are actually doing to us as a country.
Okay.
Dumping of fish, harvesting of small pelagic species, which is against the law. Harvesting of juvenile fish, which is against the law, which is fast depleting the stocks.
Nana, so what role is...
we are helpless.
Nana, so the Ministry of Fisheries are the body we know that grants licenses to owners of fishing vessels to operate in Ghana. Is that it?
Please come again.
I'm saying the Ministry of Fisheries are the ones we know that grant licenses for fishing vessels to operate in Ghana, right? So is it that Ghanaians now do not meet the criteria? That is why people are fronting for the Chinese to take over?
I still do not get it well, but
I'm saying the licensing regime,
for now, in the register,
yes,
the people who hold the licenses are Ghanaians. And these Ghanaians are fronting for these foreign Chinese companies.
Wow.
And that is the situation now.
Okay.
The law does not allow foreigners to own. So Ghanaians appear to be owning. But the actions of these vessels, the naming of these vessels, their style of operation, everything points to the fact that they are not Ghanaian. These vessels are not Ghanaian owned. But legally, Ghanaians are holding the license. And they are also Ghanaians. And the law allows them to have the licenses. But as to whether they are owning the vessels, they are at the decision, they decide as to what the vessels does, is where there is a problem.
Okay.
It is important for the ministry to reconsider, and we are hoping that as a legislative review is ongoing, probably we'll be able to come up with some clauses that will protect local content and ensure that these foreigners do not exploit the gaps in our laws.
So now let me find out from you, from your research, are the operations of these fishing vessels really monitored by the ministry, because they grant the licenses for them to operate? From your research, did you see any monitoring mechanism in place? Nana, can you hear me?
Please come again.
I'm saying, in your research, did you come about, or did you realize, or did you see the operations being monitored? These fishing vessels that now you believe strongly that Ghanaians front for, but the operations are really done by the Chinese. I'm saying, in terms of the monitoring mechanisms, did you see the ministry really having a plan in terms of monitoring these vessels?
Yeah, still the line is not clear, but I believe you want to know the monitoring mechanism,
yes,
to ensure that these vessels operate according to laws and regulations.
Yes, exactly.
Good. That is supposed to be the case. But from what we are seeing now, we do not think we are having an efficient monitoring system.
Okay.
Because the harvesting of small pelagics is still ongoing. The harvesting of juvenile fish is still ongoing. Dumping of fish is still ongoing. So clearly, our monitoring system appears not that efficient. And there's the need for us as a country to invest more in monitoring, control, and surveillance to be able to contain the activities of these vessels. Another sad thing that has become a phenomenon in our fisheries is the opaque out-of-court settlements that the law allows, but is being exploited by these foreign companies. So what happens is that as they go against the law and they are being prosecuted, the law allows them to opt for out-of-court settlements. And at the out-of-court settlement, punishment has not been as severe as would have been in the court.
Okay. Nana,
and
so
even payment of fines, we understand, are not honored. And we have had instances where vessels that have been fined get their license renewed to fish even when they have not paid the fines in full. So we have this opaque out-of-court settlement, which has also not helped the system.
Okay,
so
Nana,
we are not able to punish
them very
the
well.
Perpetrators.
Okay.
To even deter others.
Okay, so Nana, let's look at this. We know the IUU has classified China as the world's worst illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing offenders. What are the players really in the fishery sector doing to really correct this phenomenon, or even change it, or even resist the operations in the country?
Once again, I didn't get it, but you were looking at Chinese being West IUU offenders across the countries.
Exactly.
We are talking of the case of Ghana. But then we have had reports from other countries, Senegal, Mauritania. In fact, along the Gulf of Guinea, there are almost daily reports from other countries as to the illegalities that have been perpetrated by these same Chinese vessels across.
So that's why I'm asking. So with the Ghana factor, with the Ghana scenario, what are the players in the sector really doing to either resist or even stop this particular phenomenon from happening?
Yeah, I think we the canoe fishers, for instance, are on daily basis bringing this issue to the doorsteps of the ministry and the commission.
Okay.
We are on daily basis crying out for the regulator to step in because SAICO, as you mentioned, for now, has changed form. When the minister assumed office, he promised attending to this because it was fast causing the decline of artisanal fisheries. So the minister did well to stop the illegal transshipment that is done at sea, where the blocks of fish are transferred to canoes to be landed and sold. But then it has changed form from the illegal transshipment to now being landed at the ports, where it is being supervised by the state. So we have a situation where more or less the state is now supervising an illegality. And that actually tells the competing situation we have in our fisheries. So there are these competing interests. And I think the ministry and the commission would have to step up the game if indeed we are to protect our fisheries for the good of Ghanaians.
Okay, so Nana,
stakeholders are actually crying out for the ministry to step up its game and bring this phenomenon to an end so that we can protect our fisheries. If it collapses entirely, Ghanaians suffer the most, and we artisanal fishers suffer the most. Coastal communities will actually suffer poverty.
Okay.
And it is important for the Fisheries Commission and the ministry to step in.
Okay, in terms of stepping in,
we have been assured of efforts by the ministry, the acquisition of patrol boats. Even yesterday, I read on the net that the president at the One Ocean Summit has recommitted himself to reactivating the monitoring system to ensure that the illegalities are curtailed to save the fisheries.
Nana, before I let you go, we are aware that the EU last year issued Ghana with a yellow card, meaning that if we don't take care and we continue to indulge in the illegal fishing, they will really suspend us or pull us down. What efforts have been done to halt the IUU fishing?
Right. I think I heard you talking about the EU yellow card. I didn't
yes, the yellow card. It's the warning that last year.
The European Commission has as its system to ensure that countries do more to curtail IUU fishing.
Okay.
So if they see you not to be doing much, then you are sanctioned accordingly.
Okay.
And by yellow card, we have been warned. At the time the yellow card was issued, SAICO was prevalence, all forms of IUU was ongoing. As I said, the illegal transshipment at sea has been stopped. The ministry has taken steps together with the commission to come up with a new fisheries management plan. There's ongoing legislative review. We are reviewing the laws, our Fisheries Act, to make sure that we'll be able to respond fully to some of these illegal practices. We as industry players, for instance, the canoe owners, recently we have also built some consensus as to what we can also do ourselves to support the effort by the ministry to address IUU fishing. We have the use of explosives and chemicals. We have the use of undersized mesh sites, which harvest juvenile fish. We have light fishing, all as illegalities that are done by artisanal fishers. And we think we cannot sit down and look on whilst we have been warned, whilst the resource is about collapsing, whilst we are not making catch, artisanal fishing is not doing well. So we, on our own, have also met and considered some actions that we can take ourselves to bring a stop to some of these illegalities, whilst we also entreat the ministry and the commission to also step in. So I believe with the steps that are being taken, if we are able to put our assets together and then we commit ourselves to it, we, the resource users, the regulator, the ministry and everyone, all stakeholders come on board, we'll be able to address the issues that caught the attention of the EU for which we were issued with the yellow card.
Nana Kwejan, thank you very much for your time. We'll link up more to do more to protect our fisheries sector. So that was Nana Kwejan. He was or is the president of the Canoe Owners Association. Let's move on and go straight to Tamale now. About 50 suspected criminals were arrested following a swoop by the Northern Regional Police Command at Abuabu Forest in Tamale, the Northern Regional capital. The police on Saturday morning also burnt down about 100 makeshift structures believed to be the hideouts for some of the criminals whilst they carried out their criminal activities.
The criminals were arrested at different places within the forest close to the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium. The police retrieved substances suspected to be Indian hemp, cough syrups, cutlasses, knives, scissors, motorbikes, plastic chairs, among others in the swoop. Briefing the media after the exercise, the Northern Regional Crime Officer, Superintendent Bernard Baba Ananga, said criminals have taken over the forest and it is increasingly becoming a no-go area for residents, and the exercise was to flush them out of the forest. He revealed that a wanted criminal from Bogatanga was recently arrested at the forest and handed over to the police in Bogatanga, and that necessitated the move by the Regional Police Command. Superintendent Ananga indicated that the suspected criminals will be screened and those found culpable will be processed for court.
We have seen that we have to maintain these operations. The Regional Police Commander, Mr. Timothy Sebonga, insisted that these operations should be sustained, they should be maintained, all the criminals should be flushed out, and to ensure that those suspects who are on wanted list are traced and arrested.
He said intelligence also revealed that prostitution is gradually gaining grounds in the forest as shelters are being used as brothels. He said the exercise will be sustained to rid the forest reserve of criminals and criminal activities.
We're still staying a bit longer in Tamale Northern region, and in a bid to mitigate the effects of climate change on the ecosystem and improved the share value chain in the Savannah Zone, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia has launched the Share Landscape Emission Reduction Report in Tamale, the Northern Regional capital. Under the project, 1.7 million share trees will be planted to restore the degraded share parklands and forest.
The Ghana Share Landscape Emission Reduction Project, developed by the Forestry Commission, UNDP, and the Global Share Alliance, was approved by Green Climate Fund in August 2020. It consists of a U.S. grant of $30.1 million and a $24.4 million co-financing by the Government of Ghana and Global Share Alliance. 1.7 million share trees are expected to be planted under the project to restore share lands. It seeks to promote sustainable approaches to land use, forest conservation, and enhanced community-based resource management to stem the ongoing forest degradation and deforestation from illegal logging, charcoal production, agricultural expansion, and illegal mining that threaten the forest and share production system. The program will also be an important initiative to strengthen rural economies in the north, support female-dominated share harvesting systems and revenue streams, and also address poverty, which is widely considered to be endemic in the zone. The Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Mr. John Alote, commended the various partners for supporting the project, especially the Italian government for providing financial support.
The UNDP, as a Green Climate Fund accredited entity, facilitated this support as well as the engagement of the Global Share Alliance. And we appreciate both of them and look forward to a fruitful collaboration on this project.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapo, said the project seeks to deliver transformative development with focus on people, industry, and the environment. He commended the chiefs for supporting the ban on fuel wood and rosewood harvesting, stressing that it will protect share trees and mitigate deforestation.
We are grateful to the chiefs and people of northern Ghana for placing a ban on fuel wood and rosewood harvesting and commercial charcoal burning. This will go a long way to protect our share trees and support the fight against deforestation.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, said government is committed to creating a climate-responsive atmosphere through the right policies, technical and financial commitments. He called on the chiefs and people of the 5 regions of the North to support the project to ensure its successful implementation.
Government committed in our 2022 budget statement to embark on projects and programs that will promote the cultivation of shea in the North, just like cocoa in the South, to transform the local economies of the shea region. This can only be achieved when stakeholders fully commit to the project at every point in time through collective ownership. I therefore call on all stakeholders and beneficiaries of the project in the 5 regions of the North to collaborate to achieve this and build ecosystem resilience.
The program was on the theme Climate Resilience for People, Industry and Forests.
Let's come back to Accra. From March 1, 2022, the Ghana card will be recognized as an international traveling identity document, otherwise called e-passport, for all Ghanaian holders traveling to Ghana. The Ghana Airport Company Limited, GACL, says it has told all airlines through the International Air Transport Association, IATA, following a key ceremony at the headquarters of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, in Montreal, Canada, to officially recognize the Ghana card as a machine-readable travel document, MRTD. The GCAA, in an official notice to the international airlines and airports, confirmed that Ghanaians can start using their Ghana card from the 1st of March to travel to Ghana. This directive also means that Ghanaians in the diaspora who hitherto needed a Ghanaian passport and a visa to travel back home will now be able to use their Ghana card to travel back to Ghana without a visa. The GACL's notification asked all airports and international airlines operating to Ghana to allow holders of the Ghana card to board flights to Ghana following the Ghana card's recognition by the ICAO as an international machine-readable travel document. The GACL has also sent a separate notification on the new directive to IATA thematic team for publication on the IATA thematic platform for the general information of all concerned. The latest step by the GCAA has paved the way for airports and airlines to start recognizing the Ghana card as an e-passport. From Accra, let's go to Kumasi. The West Africa Network for Peace Building, National Commission for Civic Education, and the Center for Democratic Development, Ghana, have warned that failure by the state to deal decisively with violence that characterized the 2020 elections could undermine Ghana's prevailing peace. At a stakeholders meeting in Kumasi, WANEP and the CDD Ghana in particular were unanimous in that unless corporates behind the MAME are dealt with in accordance with the laws, election violence will become cynical and demotivate the electorate from participating in subsequent polls.
Participants at the day's conference were mainly victims from 6 of the administrative regions where the violence occurred. The CDD Ghana says it recorded a total of 129 violence across the country from the voters' registration exercise, the voting and post-election activities, with 8 confirmed deaths. The victims, including bereaved parents, shared what happened to them, their conditions since then, what support they are receiving, and what they want done in resolving their cases. The chairperson of the NCCE, Madame Josephine Nkrumah, noted that with Ghana's previous peaceful elections, the incidences before, during, and after the 2020 edition are regrettable. A representative of WANEB, Mr. Osei-Boafo Frimpong, warned that the prevailing political upheavals within the West African sub-region should be a motivation for the relevant state agencies to expeditiously adjudicate outstanding violent cases recorded in the 2020 polls to sustain the peace.
Part of it is to also collaborate with our partners, particularly the CDD and the European Union, to raise this important project aimed at ensuring justice and accountability to the victims of those who suffered or those who suffered various fatalities and violence in the 2020 elections. We believe that when that is done, then we will be able to forgive ourselves and forge ahead in unity. That will also play a key role in fostering social cohesion that we need to ensure good governance and democracy in this country.
The program's manager of CDD Ghana, Nana Mensah Abrampa, noted that his organization's research findings have proven that violence occurs mostly before and after public elections, for which the 2020 edition was no different, recording 129 cases with 8 deaths, the highest since Ghana's elections history.
We're still staying in Kumasi. Now, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has unanimously confirmed the Assembly member for Kurufrum East, Mr. Patrick Kwame Frimpong, as its new presiding member. This is the first time in recent years that the Assembly has elected a presiding member after a first round voting process. Mr. Patrick Kwame Frimpong garnered 40 votes, whilst his main contender, incumbent presiding member and assembly member for the Amakum area, Stephen Ofori, pulled 16 votes.
The election of the presiding member of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, KMA, was supervised by the Electoral Commission. Of the 60-member assembly, 56 were present to cast their ballot, 3 members absent, and 1 assembly member had passed on. Those who contested for the position were incumbent presiding member and assembly member of Amakum, Stephen Ofori, and assembly member for Kurufrum East, Patrick Kwame Frimpong. After the first round of voting, assembly member for Kurufrum East, Patrick Kwame Frimpong, secured 40 votes as against incumbent presiding member Stephen Ofori, who polled 16 votes with 1 rejected ballot. Mr. Frimpong fell short of the required 44 votes to clinch the position, and the process had to go for the second round. Incumbent presiding member Stephen Ofori, however, threw in the towel, paving the way for the Assembly to unanimously confirm Mr. Patrick Kwame Frimpong as the new presiding member of the KMA. He was sworn into office by the Kumasi Supervising High Court Justice Kofi Akroria. In his acceptance speech, Mr. Frimpong expressed concern about the myriad of challenges confronting the KMA and promised to liaise with the chief executive to address it.
We as a presiding member for Transport and Transit Assembly, my name is Chief Executive collaboration. Any assembly members, let me abua amasani manaru, let me move forward in it. How to manage waste? No, you been to Sukina Paisa. Every other say first day of the month, that's the last day of the month. And the November Ejuma. Now you share letter. I can't come other institutions. So more so we will say Kina Paisa size. A bit me abua.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly Chief Executive Sam Pine reiterated his resolve to collaborate with Assembly members to make Kumasi a viable city with lots of opportunity therein.
I'm ready to say the big man, may I in the year. The best I say, I hope for money cooperation on the man. Yenya Stephen Ofori, honorable, a year presiding member, no, Omodisa, Humfama, any cooperation, so that my Yenya, honorable Patrick Frimpong, so their year, Manuna Assembly, so I couldn't.
to the central region, where the chiefs and elders of Dintra Traditional Council and the Upper Dintra East Municipal Assembly have demolished unauthorized structures along the streets of the Upper Dintra East in the central region to improve the sanitation situation in the municipality. The exercise is to make the community the cleanest in the municipality. The team ejected traders and hawkers selling on the shoulders of the road, intersections, security zones, as well as drivers who have turned shoulders of the roads, streets, and pavement into permanent parking spaces. The aim is to improve on sanitation, security, and buying and selling in Dunkwao Onofin. The municipal chief executive for Upper Dintra East, Mr. Ebenezer Apia Forson, urged residents in Dunkwao Onofin to cooperate with the security task force.
What I am asking everybody is total cooperation. And today we enjoy total cooperation from the traders. We know that we have started the education on the various radio stations and in the public places, telling everybody your civic responsibility.
The Dintra Abakuman Hene Nana Jechi Enin said the decongestion exercise is to ensure sanity in the principal streets of Dunkwao Onofin as the community prepares towards the final funeral rite of the late Dintra Hene. Therefore, Buamponsem.
Yes, yena ya de hu bom na ya hwe ye kwa ho ani ye dwom said ye be ya ye ma me nom ye nuanom a omu kwa akodi dwa no omu ko wura dwom no omu pia
Some of the traders were impressed with the exercise. Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is appealing to philanthropists and organizations willing to assist the victims of the Apiati disaster to first assess their needs so that the donations meet their critical needs. According to NADMO, which is managing the Apiati relief camp, a variety of staples such as maize, beans, and tubers, among others, will be greatly appreciated.
Since the Apiati disaster occurred 3 weeks ago, corporate entities and some individuals have been supporting victims with relief and food items to make life comfortable for them. One food item which has dominated the donations is rice. Though a good gesture, NADMO managers of the relief believe a variety of food items will greatly help as the people are not used to regular consumption of rice. The camp manager, Bright Ejay, was therefore excited when Western Industries Limited, a Takoradi-based company, donated some tubers of yam, gari, maize, beans, granuts, and dry fish, among others, worth 70,000 Ghana cedis to the people. He said it will be appropriate if NADMO is consulted on the needs of the victims before donations are made. Mr. J also appealed for more tents to house adult males who are still being sheltered in a hotel at Bogoso, thus separating them from their families. The managing director of Western Industries Limited, Farouk Barake, said the people need the support of all Ghanaians and promised to rally his friends and associates to support the victims. The company also donated drinks and cash to the regent of Apiati, as well as cash to the NADMO officials who are managing the camp.
If you missed some of the past week's major stories, here is an opportunity to catch it in pictures. Well, we have more news after this break. Please stay with us. Time for us to go globe-trotting now with updates further shores. Now, Republic Guard combat troops in the Democratic Republic of Congo marched through the streets of the capital, Kinshasa, on Saturday, following a failed coup and the arrest of the alleged perpetrators.
Equipped with their combat equipment, nearly 5,000 men belonging to this elite FARDC unit responsible for protecting the head of